China just did what America said would never happen. Chinese electric vehicles, fully built, fully electric, fully ready for North American roads, have officially entered Canada in 2026. They're here with lower tariffs, a government-approved quota, and real customers lining up. And America is absolutely furious about it. This isn't a test run, this isn't a concept car tour, this is actual inventory, actual dealerships, real sales happening right now across major Canadian cities. These cars cost thousands less than comparable American models with longer ranges and faster charging. The first wave of Chinese EVs in 2026 is already reshaping the entire North American auto game. America spent years building a strict market wall to keep Chinese EVs out. Heavy tariffs, strict safety barriers, and constant political pressure on its allies to follow the same restrictions. But Canada broke right through that wall in January 2026 with one single trade deal that turned North American automotive trade completely upside down. If this already surprises you, stick around because the story gets far more intense. If you enjoy geopolitical and industrial shift stories like this, hit like and subscribe so you never miss upcoming content. How exactly did this deal happen? Which Chinese vehicles are reaching Canadian roads? Let's get into it. The Chinese cars entering Canada. Let's start with the vehicles themselves. They are not ordinary cars. China's top global EV manufacturers are leading this entry into Canada. BYD, Chery, and Geely, brands that have dominated worldwide electric vehicle sales for years. BYD brings its global bestseller, the Dolphin compact EV, with an affordable starting price in Canada. It costs thousands less than equivalent Ford and Volkswagen models, with solid driving range, quick acceleration, and a modern rotating touchscreen inside the cabin. Chery launches its sleek Omoda 5 EV crossover, packing long-distance range, reliable build quality, long-term warranty coverage, and modern interior features. Its practical design and price point make it ideal for everyday urban driving. Geely takes a separate strategic approach, bringing its premium luxury electric models to the Canadian market through established existing dealer networks. These high-end EVs offer spacious interiors, advanced comfort features, and strong range suited for long Canadian drives. There are no hidden fees or complicated terms. These vehicles simply deliver better overall value than most Western competitors on sale today. This simplicity is fully intentional. Chinese automakers are not only selling cars, they are bringing affordable, reliable EV value that Canadian consumers had not accessed before. America's immediate backlash. Now here is the dramatic turning point most people expected would never happen. Surely Canada would never go against its closest allies' wishes on such a major economic decision. Surely they would stand with the United States to protect shared North American automotive industry, but they did not. In January 2026, Canada finalized a trade agreement with China that drastically cut tariffs on imported Chinese EVs. A set annual import quota was established, with planned growth in the coming years. In return, China reduced tariffs on key Canadian agricultural exports entering its own market. America's response was immediate and extremely hostile. Senior American transportation officials publicly criticized the decision, stating Canada would later regret opening its market to Chinese electric vehicles. Top United States senators issued official warnings, urging border restrictions to stop any Chinese EVs from crossing into American territory. They claimed the vehicles carried onboard data systems that created unnecessary security concerns. The U.S. ambassador to Canada spoke directly on Canadian media, issuing clear threats. He stated Chinese EVs would be permitted in Canada, but would never be allowed onto American soil under any circumstances. Major American automotive companies also condemned the move. Industry executives argued Canada's choice damaged North American manufacturing unity and warned of potential impacts on local automotive employment. Yet none of this anger halted the imports. By early 2026, the first batch of Chinese EVs arrived at Canadian ports. Mass consumer pre-orders followed almost instantly. Dealerships reported high demand and long customer wait times, uncommonly large for an entirely new brand entering the market. The historic trade deal. This is far more than a small number of imported cars. It is a major global economic shift that American authorities completely failed to anticipate. Here is the core of the 2026 agreement between China and Canada. Canada lowered its previously extreme tariffs on Chinese EVs down to standard international most favored nation rates, the same rates applied to cars from Europe, Japan, and South Korea. A clear annual import quota was set, with gradual expansion planned toward 2030. This volume is large enough to create real market competition, while remaining measured enough for stable domestic adaptation. China offered reciprocal tariff reductions on Canadian agricultural and forestry goods, delivering direct economic benefits to Canadian producers across multiple industries. Unlike strict American industrial requirements, Canada did not enforce mandatory rules for North American-made batteries or components. The vehicles only needed to meet universal international safety standards, which they already satisfied across dozens of global markets. This agreement represents Canada choosing independent economic policy separate from U.S. influence. Canadian officials made it clear their trade decisions prioritize national consumer interests, not political demands from abroad. The timing could not be worse for American automakers, who were already losing global market share. Now they face new, low-cost competition inside their closest allied nation. America's counterplan and its weakness. The United States is not accepting this development passively. It has built a three-part strategy to slow Chinese EV expansion into North America, and every part carries clear limitations. First, strict border controls were announced. No Chinese EVs will be allowed to enter American territory, with intensified vehicle inspections planned along the border. Second, American diplomats began pressuring other global allies to reject similar open market deals with China, warning against increased industrial presence. Third, the US expanded domestic EV subsidies to artificially lower prices of locally built vehicles in an attempt to stay competitive. Even with these incentives, American models still remain noticeably more expensive than Chinese alternatives. The core flaw in America's strategy is simple. It relies on political concern rather than real consumer value. Chinese EVs are affordable, reliable, and technically competitive. Canadian buyers are choosing based on practicality and price. Even full American border bans will not change consumer choices inside Canada. Owners will operate these vehicles locally, saving on long-term running costs while accessing better EV technology unavailable to American drivers. Most importantly, Canada's deal has cracked America's global EV blockade. Multiple other nations are now discussing similar trade arrangements. The United States cannot control global trade policy for every country on Earth. Impact on ordinary people. At this point, you may wonder how this global shift affects everyday people. The real-world impact is much larger than it first appears. For Canadian residents, high-quality, affordable electric vehicles are now widely accessible. Owners will save large amounts of money over the lifetime of their vehicle. Insurance rates have already adjusted favorably, and low running costs eliminate most fuel expenses. For American residents, indirect benefits still arrive despite border restrictions. Domestic automakers will be forced to lower prices to stay competitive across North America. Market competition created by Chinese EVs will drive down prices of all electric vehicles nationwide. For the rest of the world, this moment is a preview of global automotive transformation. Chinese EVs already lead sales across most global regions. Canada is simply the latest developed nation to acknowledge that superior affordable vehicles cannot be permanently blocked by tariffs and politics alone. This is not only transportation progress, it marks the slow end of long-standing American global automotive dominance. China is reshaping the worldwide EV industry, and American restrictions cannot stop this ongoing shift. A new era of global competition has begun. Patala, closing future outlook. Every industrial revolution has a defining turning point. For the global automotive industry, that moment arrived in January 2026, the day Canada officially opened its market to Chinese electric vehicles. Chinese EVs deliver strong pricing, practical range, fast charging, and consistent build quality, matching and exceeding many legacy Western vehicles. Politicians can issue warnings, erect trade barriers, and voice criticism endlessly. But ordinary consumers prioritize cost, performance, and practicality above national origin. Real consumer choice always outweighs political disputes. The global future of transportation is electric, affordable, and borderless. That future is already arriving at dealerships across North America right now. Nations can build walls, governments can issue threats, and companies can pour billions into subsidies. None of these forces can stop technological progress or basic consumer choice. The world has realized Chinese EVs are not distant future technology, they are the present reality. If this story surprised you at all, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. This global EV shift is only beginning, and we will continue covering every new development as it unfolds. Now, I want to know your opinion. Would you choose a Chinese EV that is significantly cheaper than comparable Western vehicles? Or does the country of origin matter more to you than price and performance? Leave your answer in the comments below.